Welcome to the running journey. Welcome to the running journey.
Welcome to the running journey.
Welcome
to the running journey. Running journey, yeah. Welcome to The Running Journey, a transformative podcast telling the story of two brothers faced with a very tough time in their lives that decided to do something about it, get healthy, get fit, and start jogging. The Running Journey will take you through half marathons, Ironmans, ultramarathons, and their attempt at qualifying for the Boston Marathon.
Don't forget 5Ks. Sorry.
We're certainly not going to forget 5Ks, Charlie. This is The Running Journey. Listen to us while you run.
That's a great idea.
Okay, I think we have our intro.
Hey guys, welcome. Rob Tatro here, another episode of The Running Journey. I'm in Huntsville, Texas. Charlie, good to see you.
Hey, I'm in Winnipeg, Manitoba. It's a nice place to be.
How was the weekend?
Oh, it was all right. How was yours?
Yeah, I ran 50 miles yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah, it's nice. It's not something I'd recommend for anyone.
Yeah. So, how are you feeling today?
Man, I'm just so wiped out. It's crazy. I went to bed at like 10 o'clock yesterday, and I slept like 13 hours.
Oh, nice. That's good.
Man, I'm just wiped out. Way worse than the Ironman.
Yeah, I mean, I guess Ironman is different muscles. I guess it's kind of different. And yeah, I guess 50 miles is pretty incredible.
It's a long ways.
And you've got a tee time. So how do you think that's going to go?
I think I might just ride in the cart.
Get a couple balls, putt, maybe.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about your results. So what was your time? 9:17?
9 hours. Yeah, I guess 9 hours 17 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and you had predicted 9:57 when you were on the show previously. So you beat that by 40 minutes. So how do you feel about your results? I guess we need someone to do some parenting, but. Huh?
So I feel really good about my result. That's 40 minutes, like 9:57 would have been. It's hard. It's very hard. So I'm really pleased. I'm proud. I'm humbled with how difficult the race is. I'm ecstatic with my result. All of that.
All right. And as far as so how did you what was your strategy when you started out? How did you feel?
So basically,
how did you feel you were going? Like, what was the effort and kind of describe your strategy throughout?
It's basically 3 loops. It's a 3-loop race, and each loop, I noticed on the first loop, each loop is divided into effectively thirds because there's 2 aid stations, 1/3 of the way and 2/3 of the way. So the race is basically divided in ninths, right? Like 1/9, because every aid station you're going to see is 1/9. It's roughly, 5.5 to 6 miles, something like that. So between, not quite exactly, but it's pretty darn close. So when I started I just took it really slow. So when you start the race, it's one path, right, for most of the places, so you can't pass. So it's a mass start. I went to the mass start, and I had to walk the whole a good stretch of the first kilometer because it was too packed. There's too many people. You couldn't get through. It has to thin out a bit over time before you could walk. And then I took it real slow. I was trying to think like running forever pace and slower even. So I was kind of doing 6.5, 7-minute kilometers. So some of them I do a little faster, but the hills were really tough. But more importantly, the roots were so tough. There were stretches of the course where there was just roots everywhere. You have to focus. You have to focus with your eyes on every step you're taking. Otherwise, you can trip. I saw so many people trip and fall.
Oh, wow. Did you trip and fall at all?
Zero falls.
Nice.
I tripped a lot. So I had about 16 or so, like.
But then you would do the bounce and
you catch yourself and then put your hand on the ground or whatever. So no, I didn't fall. So there you go, Patrick. Take that.
Nice. And okay, so let's say so you had a crew there, so what was your nutrition like? How did the nutrition hydration plan go?
I kind of just winged it. I kind of wanted to make sure I went by feel, but I also said, okay. So the first aid station, I didn't even stop. It was like an hour in. So
really?
I didn't even. I was like, felt good. I didn't even stop. So I had 3 Cliff Bars and 4 gels per loop. So in my head, it was going to be kind of 3.5 hours per loop, roughly. Is big picture is what I had. So that means 3 Cliff Bar, 4 gels, and then I told myself you have to eat stuff also at the aid stations, whatever they have. Because what I noticed is they had hash browns, they had baked Oreos, they had
nice,
like
hash
whatever.
Browns.
Yeah, they had real food, which was good. So I was like kind of looking forward to.
Were the hash browns pretty tasty, or how did they go down?
It was the tater tots.
Yeah, those are the best. Yeah,
unreal, and they salted them like crazy. So it was just great. So when I saw the second aid station, I knew, okay, this is what they have here. There's so much. So I'm going to eat my Cliff Bars and my treats will be other stuff at every aid station. And then at the third aid station, only then did I kind of start drinking water. So that's hour. So I got to the second aid station, basically 2 hours on the nose. So I was like, okay, I'm going roughly 5.5 miles an hour or something like that. So, okay. Then I got to the third aid station, exactly an hour. So I did my first loop in 3 hours. And then I was like, okay, every time aid station, load up on food. 4th hour, I started realizing I might be dehydrating because I hadn't peed in a while, 4th or 5th hour. So then I started loading up, just drinking way more water and making sure that I was peeing once in a while. Or at least I didn't feel, because I was like, so hour 4, I felt really, really good. I was like, I'm gonna do well. Like this is I can run at this pace forever. I thought I could run at this pace. So it was really, 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 really slow, my pace, but I figured I could run at this pace forever. So I'm just going to do that, and that'll be like after the first loop, I legit thought 9 hours was my number target. I was like, you can do 9 hours. So second loop felt good. First stretch went good. When I hit the 5th hour, I started mentally losing it. So just kind of what happened with the loops is that there were cycles of emotions in each loop and cycles of emotion in each aid station in each hour.
Yeah, what about the terrain on each loop? So we'll go back to your when you started losing it mentally there, but
okay.
The terrain on each loop, like, so if you break it down into each third, where was the elevation and all those things?
It was hills nonstop. So it's like I thought the second, third, I think you're maybe going out a little bit overall and coming back in, but the loops are loops themselves. So like you do a mini loop of one area, then a loop of another area. So there was elevation, like there were hills on the first loop. I walked maybe 3 times aside from the aid station.
Yeah.
So I walked 3 times. Those were big hills, the biggest hills, the 3 biggest hills. On the second loop, I probably walked 10 times or 8 times. And on the third loop, the last 2 kilometers, not only did I walk every uphill, but I had to walk every downhill.
Really? But your time on the last loop was the same as your second loop.
On the second loop?
second and third loops were the same.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, what happened is I took five or 6 minutes
at the beginning of the second loop.
Yeah, right after the chip, I met the boys, and I wasn't. I took my time. I took a 6 or 7 minute chat. I sat in the chair. I was.
Sorry, was that at the beginning of the second loop or at the end of the second loop?
That was at. Well, both times I took 4 or 5 minutes. So I guess
you texted me after your second loop, so you must have taken some time there.
Yeah, I took some time after the second loop. You were saying my second and third loop were the same time?
Pretty much, yep.
Huh.
You may have been running at a slightly faster pace when you were running in the third loop because you knew you were at the end. I don't know.
Well, in my mind, okay, so what happened towards the end of the third loop is I thought, so 9 hours was looking less and less and less like it was going to be possible. But with about a half marathon left, I decided I would go for it. I would try to beat the 9 hour mark. So I started going, and I thought I was sprinting. I thought I was doing way more effort, way more effort, but I had to walk more. So yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. So that could be.
Well, hour 5 and 6 were by far the toughest.
Yeah. I'm trying to find it. I don't know why I don't have it here, but I'll find it on my phone here. Anyways, okay. So then on the second loop, you said you started having some mental breakdowns.
Yeah. So basically, there was a journey of emotions for each loop.
Right.
So, and then there was also a journey of emotions for each aid station. So in theory, it was about an hour. It was taking me about an hour to get to each of the next aid stations. But it was like,
because you just went slightly over 9, right? So
9:17. I think 3 hours for my first loop. I thought it was like 3:03 or 3:05. So maybe I'm wrong.
No, I think it was more
3:07, 3:08.
3:08. Yeah, but I'm trying to pull it up here. Why can't I get it? I had it yesterday. Weird, I can't find it now. Anyways, yeah, I think you were very similar times your second and third loop.
Definitely. Okay, I guess it definitely felt like I was going. Felt like my time was better in the second loop. I put more effort in the third loop, but I thought I was slower in the third loop. So yeah, I guess that makes sense.
Yeah. And so I was following you on my phone here the whole time, and when I first looked, you were like 60th, and then you gradually moved up. Finally, you finished 13th, so pretty good result. Okay, so let's talk about when you were down. So what were the emotions?
I just wanted to quit. I didn't think. I was thinking, like, why did I sign up for this? It doesn't make sense. Like, why would you? You're not right. Like I just wanted to quit, and I was thinking it wasn't reasonable what I was doing, and you should just quit. You should just quit. It's too hard. It's too long. It's gonna take you all day. Like just And I was starting to get a lot of pain in my hip flexor or whatever this is called on the side here. So I was starting to get into a lot of pain. So I didn't want the pain anymore.
Like the side of your legs, you mean?
Yeah.
Side of your your tibial band.
Yes. Yeah. I was just thinking, like, well, you don't need, like, just why do this? And anyways, it's just tough. You're struggling, right?
Yeah. Well, I quit last week, so I know how it is.
Yeah, because the roots. So what happened on the second loop? You get slightly less mentally focused because you're in hour 4 or 5 or 6 or whatever, and your legs are lifting up slightly less over every route, right?
Yeah. So you're going slow, but you're also going slower. From what I remember, when I did the fourth loops, I was way less careful, but I was going way slower. So it was like,
I would progressively almost wipe out more and more throughout the race because I know why. For me, it's probably more because it was harder to keep your mental focus, right?
Yeah, 50 miles in or 40 miles in, yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like so then hour 6, I saw the boys.
Okay, so wait, so you got to the 5th aid station.
Yeah.
And that's just a regular aid station. The boys aren't there.
No, yeah, they were basically at 3 and 6, right?
Okay, so how is the 5th aid station? What'd you do there?
Oh, I took pickles. I took I had pickles.
Oh, pickle juice, eh? Did you do
They
the
had pickle juice and they also had just pickles. I was eating
So
pickles.
what's the point of the pickle juice? I know that people do that.
I guess it's like highly concentrated in sodium, so it's and like
the electrolytes, yeah.
Electrolytes. Yeah. I think that's because they had pickle juice. Like
apparently it revives people, like pretty much. It can do that to some people, yeah.
The last time I think I drank pickle juice was at the bar in San Molo.
So you didn't have pickle juice, you had pickles.
I had pickles. I had pickles. I had oranges, bananas. I was eating like real food, hash browns, whatever they had that was kind of real food. They had fries. They had a piece of like bacon and sausages. I know I shouldn't eat that, but I had a couple pieces of bacon and sausages at some of the things. Just whatever was there that was real food I was eating.
Yeah. And no problems with your stomach. It was all good.
No problem with my stomach. I ate 7 Cliff Bars. I had 12 gels, or maybe 7 Cliff Bars, 12 gels, and then the rest of that food, no problem with my stomach. So I feel I got a good stomach, obviously.
Were you ever full? Like, did you ever feel full almost? Or
no, I probably didn't eat enough. Eat enough because I had. Yeah. I mean.
No, I mean. Yeah. Okay. So then, so that was a tough aid station. Then 5 to 6, so that's about 5.5 miles that you're going.
Yeah, 5.5 miles.
And how was that? Yeah, how was that section? So that was the toughest.
That one was toughest. Mentally? Yeah. Because the miles weren't moving, and it felt like I was.
The miles felt like they took 20 minutes.
Yeah, 20 minutes. And like you do a curve, and you're like, no, I don't have to go that way. Like, no, it's like I want to go that way, and they'd send you further into the bush.
Yeah.
And like you're just thinking that it's never gonna end, and
yeah.
But hour 6, I think was. Yeah, that was my worst. Hour 5 and 6. That's where, like, the last part of hour 6. Obviously, I saw my boys, so I was kind of excited about that. But
yeah,
it's hour 6 was the worst. Once I got into hour 7, the TSN turning point was. I realized I was a half marathon away, like 5 kilometers in or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, half marathon. I was like, you've done a million of these, Ron. That's all you got left, half marathon, and it kind of gave me a kick in my step and.
Yeah.
From kilometer 60 to kilometer 70, I was okay because mentally I started seeing the end, getting over the wall kind of thing.
Yeah.
But it started fading pretty quick when I realized like it's just, and then like 70 to 80 was the hardest thing I've ever had to do in my life.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And at that point, you were still were you like alternating between running and walking, or what was
I was running everything I could. So everything I could, I was running, but the steeper hills, I started.
So basically, it's your muscles, right? Your muscles were preventing you from being able to run in some spots.
Yeah, and there were a lot of these bridges, so you'd go up a bridge, flat, and then down a bridge, and like I have to walk up the bridges and down the bridges a lot of times.
Yeah.
But
you did pass people.
Well, that's what I was thinking is like as much as I felt like I was a failure for how slow my time was and for how I wasn't going to beat 9 hours. And I gave myself, I thought, okay, I had
but 9 hours is a pretty arbitrary number, right? Like when you think about it.
I know. So at some point I realized I wasn't going to make it. And I was like, okay, I'm not going to make 9 hours. You're not going to run it in 5 minutes. You're not going to run every kilometer. So like at 45 minutes, I realized I wasn't going to do it. So then I had no goals. Because whether it was 9:12 or 9:20 or there was it didn't matter, right? So then it was starting to get tough mentally because then you're like, it doesn't matter. I can walk down this. It's not gonna. I could walk up a little bit more. So I don't know what my times were. I really haven't dissected the race yet, but I walked. I imagine my last stretches are going to be slow, but maybe I'm wrong.
You know, so 208 was your last nine and a half or whatever it is.
Okay, yeah, 2 loops.
Well, the 2/3. So they only gave me splits as I was paying attention. So every loop, they would give me a split at the first aid station and then a split at the end of the loop.
Okay.
So it was like 1 hour, 2 hours, 1 hour, 2 hours always. So you did your last 2/3 of the second loop in 208, and you also did your last 2/3 of the third loop in 208. Exactly the same.
Okay, but the first half of the last 2/3, so hour 8.
Yeah.
I bet you I was doing 6-minute kilometers.
Yeah. And then you faded at the end, is what you're saying.
Because I thought I could beat 9 hours. I'm like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to surprise everyone. I'm going to beat 9 hours. So I gave it a hard go, and I was doing good. So I was moving fast. And then I think I faded. But I'm going to check out all my kilometers and see. I imagine, like, the last 2-3 kilometers, I could have gone faster, obviously. Like, I was running, but I mean, I wanted to finish it so bad, but there was no 3-hour marathon in pace. Right?
There was nothing kind of motivating you except for maybe position. So
getting the heck off the course. Okay, so that motivated
and finishing.
Me. So I didn't.
That's kind of why I texted you. I thought maybe that would motivate you. Like, I was just trying to find something that would motivate you because I know it's hard. But when I texted you, I don't know if you got it.
Yeah, there's no motivation. So basically, I'm like starting way at the back of the pack. I started way at the back, and they also put out the half marathoners and the 50Kers 45 minutes after us. So the loops weren't the same. So people started passing us because what happened is at mile 3 or 4, the half marathoners were passing us. So, well, for me, it was mile like 10 or something or 12. So they were passing us, and I was like, how many people are passing
reminds me of the Manitoba Marathon when you get these 8-year-olds who are doing the relay who pass you. But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, but so they had way less distance to pass me. But they were passing me like crazy. And then what happened is I hear someone talk to me in French, and it was Diggs and Labby. They were behind me.
You saw them? They were running?
Well, they came up to me, and I ran with them for maybe half a kilometer. This would have been mile like 10 for me, mile 3 for them, something like that.
Yeah, obviously they were going a little bit faster than what you.
Yeah, they were going faster. So I said, "You guys go ahead." So they went ahead, and they looked really good. I mean, it was early, but they looked good. And then, so you don't know who's passing you and who's not. So you have no idea how you're doing in the race. Then the 50 milers.
At the end it's just
50. The 50Kers are also passing you, right? Because some of the faster ones they're faster than us. Obviously, there's a lot. So you don't really know who's passing you, but the third loop, there's nobody else on the course, right? It's just you. It's just the 50 milers. So I didn't get past once. And I counted like 5 or 6 passes that I made, including 4 in the last 2 miles. Like people were not doing so good. So I felt as shitty as I felt for my time. I was like, you know what?
It's hard. Like that to me, that's like, it's not that you hope that other people struggle, is that it puts it into perspective how hard it is when at the end you're passing people, you know?
Yeah, so they were doing worse off than me, and I was doing really
because of how hard it is, right? Like the thing is, it's just ridiculously hard, right? So
I guess it's kind of like the Ironman, right? At the end, I was passing all sorts of people. I wasn't moving that quick, but actually, I did my last half at the Ironman about the same speed as I did my last half here.
Oh wow! What was your last half? Like 2.5? Did I call it pretty close?
2:28 or something? Yeah, 2:29. Yeah.
Yeah, I said 2.5 would be good.
Honestly, I feel like I pretty much left it all in the course. Maybe the last 2-3 kilometers I pushed hard, but I could have I think I did like 7:30 on some of those kilometers at the end.
That's great. Like, that's amazing, I think. Anyways.
Yeah.
So, any potential, you worried about any injuries, or did you get any blisters or anything like that?
Crazy how much people had prepared for this and I had prepared for this and the bags of stuff. And I literally showed up and I wore the entire same outfit for the entire 50 miles. I didn't change. I didn't do anything. I didn't use anything. I just showed up. So, sorry, what was your question again? I promise I had
Sorry. So, no, my question was, do you have any potential injuries, or you feel
Oh
good?
yeah, injuries.
Or?
So I was gonna say how lucky I was that like nothing felt sore, no feet, no issues. So I just stayed wearing the same thing. So no injuries, I don't think, other than real soreness. So I'm, knock on wood, lucky. So my stomach holds up really nicely. My bowels hold up really nicely. I can pretty much eat and drink anything, and I don't have injuries on my feet. And so I was lucky when it came to all that.
Yeah, I think maybe that's a thing to take away, is that you'll be tempted to, or I think one of the mistakes I did was be over prepared. Actually, had I brought less stuff and been under prepared, I think I would have done better. But nothing would have prevented me from having my foot really hurt there. But
I don't.
Anyways, but I think what you did is a good way of approaching it, because you knew you could, every 5 miles you're just pounding the.
Yeah. So what I did, I had my little running. People were so overpacked and toques and
So they were
parkas,
heavy.
by the way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People were
+8. It was +8. You have to.
Yeah, toques and parkas. I saw runners. I'm like, there's no way. There's no possible way. They were dressed
That's
up
too
more than
hot.
I am in -30 weather. I was like, it's impossible. You cannot be cold. It's not mathematically possible. But anyways, I had my crew there, and it was. I had just a small running belt with the two. I think they're 200 mils. The two 200
that's
mils.
perfect. Yeah.
So I'd get to the aid station. I would drink whatever I had in them, or drink a couple cups of water, fill them up, and go. So basically, I had that for the hour, but I would drink at the aid station. So I was full at the aid station, and then I had another 400 mils. And sometimes there's one spot where they have water in between the aid station, just a guy with a table, and it's for both loops. So you catch it on both sides, so you could just grab a water. So I did that one time in addition.
Okay. Well, you might as well, I would assume. Just down it and then go.
That's what I did. Yeah, I was just wanted to make sure. I felt like, as much as I felt down, I'm kind of saying an oxymoron. As down as I felt,
I don't understand how you can, like, I think what you did was amazing. Like, you should feel very proud. I mean, 50 miles ain't no joke. Ultramarathons are, so if marathons are hard, what are ultramarathons?
Ultramarathons
really hard?
Really hard. As I wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to lose because of nutrition or hydration, stuff I could control, right? Yeah. So instead of having this attitude that like I'm not hungry, I'm fine, I was like, okay, no, stick to the plan, focus, do what you're supposed to do. Because I could hear old timers talk and like, oh, just make sure your nutrition plan. Like when I was jogging through. So everyone was talking nutrition plans. So I was like, okay, I should take this seriously. So I ate those Cliff Bars, 1 an hour, like they were going out of style. Yeah. I did 4 gels per loop. I did the food. I did that. I was eating real food. So I did what I was supposed to do. I didn't want to. I wanted to focus on if I took away all the variables out, all that was left really was injury. Because I think mentally, I knew mentally I would push through. Although this was the hardest to push through, I knew I would push through. So if I could just remove injury.
So relative to your Ironman, this was harder?
Yeah, this was way harder. But it's possible that I have a recency bias. I don't know. I'm not aware of that.
Well, that's the thing. Probably. That could be, but I don't know. I bet you, I feel like it sounds harder.
I never thought, like the Ironman, the last loop in my mind, and I think I said this after the fact, I enjoyed my day. Like I enjoyed the pace I was going at. I never thought I was going too fast. I knew I could continue. I knew I was going to finish. This was like here's what every half hour, pretty much, I was recording videos of my emotions.
Oh yeah.
So there's a lot of raw emotions on my phone, and I would do it whenever I felt emotionally high or emotionally low. So as I felt good, if I was like, oh, I'm gonna beat 9 hours, I would record myself, and if I felt like I want to quit, I would record myself. And,
roller coaster, the old roller coaster.
So when I put that together, and I was also doing it just to pass time.
Yeah.
Like just talking to the camera will pass 5 minutes, and then I have 5 minutes left to jog, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, it was good. It was harder. It was good. It's incredibly rewarding. Like I slept all night last night, so this will be kind of enjoy the day. We're going golfing. We're gonna watch the Super Bowl. We're gonna enjoy the day, and that's why I should probably go here, Charlie.
Yeah.
We'll talk more about it next time. But good to recording episode, and good to see you. And make sure to like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.
Okay. Bye.